Hey, today we are talking about 5 must-have power tools for your homestead. Now, these are 5 different tools that we've used in a lot of different ways. I'm going to show you those. I'm going to give you one bonus power tool that I think you'll really like. And then we're going to go ahead and show you some of the things that I've put together and what tools I use on those different projects. I'm going to put all the links in the top of the comment section and the description for you. So if you're interested, you can grab those. So let's go ahead and get started now. The first thing you're going to need is a drill. Probably already know what a drill does. It drills holes in things, it screws things in. I would recommend you get something that's really durable and has a good quality battery life. We like these ryobi tools. They've been really rugged and great quality, so that's what we recommend. Next up is a reciprocating saw. Now this is a really cool tool. I like to use this maybe a little too much. But it's almost like a little mini chainsaw. You can take a lot of limbs down. You can saw apart pallets. Anything that you need to demo or destroy, this is a great little tool for that. And I would also recommend that you get some good blades. They come with blades that can cut metal, there's wood, there's PVC, all kinds of different things. So this is your circular saw. Other than your drill, this is going to be one of the primary tools that you're going to use, or I would think you would, especially if you're building things like chicken coops or turkey roosts, or if you're doing any kind of woodworking, this is what you're going to need. Now, one thing I really like about this one is it's not a corded drill, and the ryobi stuff is really good. Because it all uses that same battery. I can take this out near my chicken coop or in my chicken coop and do what I need to do with it. I don't need to find an outlet to do that. Probably your drill, impact driver, those are going to be, if you had to pick a first thing, those are probably going to be the first ones you go with, but this is probably number 2 or 3 after that. So next we have the miter saw. Now this gives you 90-degree cuts. You can also do angled cuts. And this is more, I use this for more precise cuts. So if we're building a chicken coop and we need dimensions to be right, versus like the circular saw, I use that to give me more ballpark cuts or kind of rough cuts. And this is really great when you're cutting a lot of the same thing. So if you're doing like a project, you're building a chicken coop and you're cutting 10 or 12 2x4s, this is a great type of a saw to have to give you consistency. So another tool you might want for your homestead, and this is a newer one that I've started using, is a jigsaw. Now this lets you make finer, sharp cuts, and I use this to make my chicken poop scooper shovel that I use on my coop, and also for my cutout chicken that I have on my egg sign, and I'll show you that here in a minute. But yeah, just remember you can make fine, sharp cuts with this. It's not something you're going to use super often, but when you need it, you need it. So a bonus tool is going to be an impact driver. Some people only use these. They don't use drills because they're more powerful. I actually use both, and I'll tell you why in just a minute when I go over one of my chicken coops. They have these little hex ends, and let's see if I can get that in focus. There you go. So I can actually hook up, if you got like a drill bit, you can hook up something like this, which you can connect to sockets. So you can unscrew or unsocket, whatever the right word is. You can take things with, apart with sockets really, really quickly, and that's come in handy, especially if you've got something that's really ratcheted down. An impact driver like this will give you the power that you need to remove stuff like that. This is our chicken sign down by the road. And this top pipe here is a piece of conduit. We use the reciprocating saw with a blade that cuts metal to cut that. Then the pieces of board here are actually pallets. I used a circular saw to trim those off, and then a reciprocating saw also to remove those all in one piece so they wouldn't get busted up. Under that, you see where the sold out, the words sold out are. That's extra pieces of wood that I put up here, and I used a drill to actually drill holes in that. And then finally, the chicken at the bottom, I used the jigsaw so I could make the finer cuts and get the chicken out of the wood, if you will. So my wife likes to make her own compost. And again, we use pallets for all kinds of things. So we made a compost bin out of these pallets, and we use the drill. It was either the drill or the impact driver to keep these connected so they don't fall all apart. So again, there's two more ways you can use those two items. This is our chicken tractor. All the girls think I'm gonna give them something, so they're all gathered around. But let me go through a couple of ways that we use these tools. These pipes right here, reciprocating saw, use that to make sure the pipes were cut to the length that we wanted them. She's gonna show off. This is the back of the coop that we open up to get our eggs. And this little latch system here, we used a drill in order to put that in. And we take that off. In here you see our nesting boxes, and we actually chop the front of these nesting boxes off with the reciprocating saw. And we use the circular saw for that in order to get straight cuts. Pretty simple stuff. Here's the top of our brooder box. We use a big kind of feed container that we put our chicks in when they're little. But you can see there's a lot of angular cuts on this one, so we would use the miter saw to get those angles and then assemble those, obviously drill those together, drill screws in those. So this is our temporary coop. Whenever we have smaller birds, they're ready to come out of the brooder, but not quite ready to be introduced to the big girls yet, they go in here. That way the big girls can see them and get introduced. You'll see it's kind of dirty. It's been in winter storage for a while, but we're about to bring it back out with the chicks. You'll see a lot of things aren't super symmetrical on as far as this top gate goes, because we had to throw this together somewhat quickly. But oftentimes when you're doing homestead work, you need a B+ job, not an A+ job. On this particular one, we used, you'll see a lot of these kind of angular cuts. That's going to be the miter saw. The 2x4s, the 2x2s, those are going to be circular saws. We had to drill a whole bunch of these, as you can see on here. So one trick that I often use is I will use an impact driver and a drill. And some people say you need one or the other, but I will put a drill bit into the impact driver, and then I will put whatever kind of head for the type of screw we're using onto the drill. So I'll be able to go through and drill pilot holes and then immediately go in and put the put all the screws in without having to detach one thing and then attach the other one. That just gets to be really annoying. So I'll use both of them, and it really makes things way, way faster. If you want to watch a video on our chicken coop, go ahead and click over here. If you want to watch some other videos on how-tos on the homestead, go ahead and click over here.